Hi and welcome. Today I'm going to be taking the rear wheel out of my Moto Guzzi Le Mans 1000. It needs a new tyre. It's right down to the wear markers on the tyre, so I need to replace it. The front tyre is still pretty good, so in this exercise I'll just be replacing the rear. Now the rear wheels on Moto Guzzis come out pretty easily, and on the Le Mans 1000 I shouldn't have to take off the mufflers. On some other models the muffler gets in the way of the axle bolt, so you have to take one muffler off. The advantage of doing it on a bike stand is that this bottom section of the stand drops away, which means that I don't have to remove any of this bodywork up here to get the rear wheel out. If you're doing this on the center stand, you may have to undo some bolts and move this rear guard out of the way to get the wheel out once you've taken the axle out. Now the wheel's held in by just an axle with a nut on the far end there and this pinch bolt that's on this side here. So the first thing we do is we undo the axle bolt, the nut on that side, and then we can undo the pinch bolt and remove the axle. Before we can push the axle out, we just need to remove the rear caliper. Now that we've loosened the pinch bolt and taken the nut off, we just need to tap the axle out. And there's the brake caliper carrier off, and now we just need to lift the wheel out. Okay, we have the new rear tyre fitted and balanced. Before you refit the wheel, you should make sure that there is grease on the splines here that mesh in with the shaft drive. If it's dry, these splines will wear out. You don't need a huge amount of grease on there, but just enough grease so that there is plenty of lubrication of those splines when the bike's on the road. The other thing you should do is apply some grease to the axle if you haven't already, just to make it easier to fit and remove that. Okay, let's put the wheel in. Once we've got the rear wheel in there, we can just refit the brake stay. Just make sure that it engages in the lug on the swing arm there, and then we can push the axle through. Now just refit the washer and the axle nut. Now we just do up the pinch bolt. Now do our final tighten on the axle bolt. Just make sure that the wheel rotates freely and there is no play. And now we just need to refit our rear brake caliper. When refitting these bolts, just make sure the little spring washer is in there. Don't forget to reseat the pads onto the disc. And that's it, job done. Don't forget to check your tyre pressure before you take the bike out on the road. They don't always set the correct tyre pressure when you get a tyre changed at a tyre place. And the other thing to do is to just go over all the nuts and bolts you've taken off, just to make sure that everything is tight before you take it out on the road. I'll catch you next time.